In a world grasping with escalating geopolitical tensions, imagine a scenario where a major conflict with Iran has become a stark reality. Today, we're dissecting a critical series of updates from March 11, 2026, as detailed in a comprehensive news summary. This report paints a vivid, albeit concerning, picture of a world deeply impacted by a hypothetical, ongoing war with Iran. From volatile global markets to urgent diplomatic maneuvers and the stark realities on the ground, let's break down the key developments outlined in our source material, giving us a unique lens through which to understand the potential ripple effects of such a conflict. The financial tremors of this hypothetical conflict are perhaps the most immediate and widespread. On Wednesday, March 11, 2026, the U.S. stock market showed a deceptive calm, with the S&P 500 edging down just 0.1%. This followed what was described as a wild stretch of market volatility, directly attributed to the war. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 289 points, or 0.6%, while the Nasdaq Composite managed a slight rise of 0.1%. These modest daily moves, however, belied the underlying anxiety. Since the start of this conflict, sharp hour-by-hour swings in oil prices have triggered financial market instability worldwide. The primary driver of this market unease is, unsurprisingly, oil. Prices briefly spiked to their highest level since 2022 earlier this week, fueled by the very real possibility of prolonged disruptions to Middle Eastern oil production. This fear, in turn, raised widespread worries about a surge of debilitating inflation for the global economy. On this particular Wednesday, the price for a barrel of Brent crude, the international standard, surged by 4.8% to settle at $91.98. Benchmark U.S. crude also gained significantly, up 4.6% to $87.25 a barrel. For context, imagine the immediate impact on your daily life: higher gas prices at the pump, increased shipping costs for every product you buy, and a general tightening of household budgets as everything from food to utilities becomes more expensive. This isn't just a number on a screen, it's a direct hit to the pockets of consumers globally. Adding to the economic fragility, financial institutions across the globe are on high alert, following a warning from the Iranian military on Wednesday that it would begin targeting banks linked with the U.S. and Israel. Several Western financial institutions confirmed they were taking measures to protect staff in the region. For instance, Standard Chartered urged its Dubai-based staff to work from home. Citigroup, another banking giant, confirmed that employees who had gone to its Dubai office were later sent home by authorities, though most were already working remotely. Even British firm PricewaterhouseCoopers reportedly closed its offices in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, and Kuwait for the rest of the week as a precaution. These aren't just minor adjustments, they signal a deep concern for safety and business continuity, highlighting how quickly a geopolitical conflict can impact the global financial infrastructure. Beyond the markets, the diplomatic and military fronts present a complex and rapidly evolving picture. The international community, through the UN Security Council, has taken a firm stance. On Wednesday, a resolution was passed with 13 votes in favor and 2 abstentions, unequivocally calling for Iran to immediately halt its attacks on Gulf states. The resolution explicitly stated that these actions breach international law and pose a serious threat to international peace and security. It specifically demanded the cessation of all attacks against Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Jordan. Furthermore, the resolution condemned any actions or threats by Iran aimed at closing, obstructing, or otherwise interfering with international navigation through the critical Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway, as an expert noted, is a key artery for global oil trade. Any disruption would have immediate and severe consequences, given the lack of equivalent alternative routes for the vast tankers that traverse it daily. While these large vessels are robust, highly engineered structures, far more damage-tolerant than many assume, they are not designed for combat. A direct strike, even if it doesn't sink a ship, can cause fire, flooding, machinery failure, pollution, crew casualties, and prolonged disruption, making them commercially unviable and creating a logistical nightmare for global supply chains. From a military perspective, the updates reveal intense operations. Brad Cooper, head of U.S. Central Command, reported on Wednesday that U.S. forces have hit more than 5,500 targets inside Iran, including over 60 ships, utilizing a variety of precision weapon systems. Tuesday was described as the most intense day of strikes since the war began on February 28th, with strike waves occurring nearly every hour, hitting Iran from different locations and directions. Among the significant achievements reported was the destruction of the last of Iran's 4 Soleimani-class warships. President Trump, during a trip to Ohio, provided his own assessment, stating that U.S. forces have hit 28 Iranian mine-laying ships as of Wednesday, after Iran started talking about mines. U.S. officials had previously indicated that Iran might be preparing to use naval mines in the Strait of Hormuz, underscoring the strategic importance of these preemptive strikes.
President Trump's rhetoric surrounding the conflict also drew attention. When asked to clarify his descriptions of the operation as both a short-term excursion and a war, he responded, "Well, it's both. It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be, for them, it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought." Later, when asked what more needed to happen militarily for the operation to end, he responded, "More of the same. And we'll see how that all comes out. Right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, their leaders are gone, and we could do a lot worse." These statements paint a picture of overwhelming U.S. military superiority in this hypothetical scenario. A chilling aspect of modern warfare highlighted in these updates is the role of artificial intelligence. U.S. Central Command confirmed that forces were leveraging a variety of advanced AI tools to sift through vast amounts of data in seconds, enabling faster decision-making than the enemy can react. While emphasizing that humans will always make final decisions on what to shoot and what not to shoot and when to shoot, the power of AI to transform processes from hours or days into seconds is undeniable. This revelation comes amidst a seemingly contradictory development. A memo showed the Defense Department officially notified senior leadership to remove Anthropac's AI products from their classified systems within 180 days, after designating Anthropac a supply chain risk. This suggests a complex and evolving relationship with AI technology, even as its tactical advantages are being exploited in real time. The human cost of this conflict is tragically real. The Defense Department confirmed the identity of the 6th U.S. Army reservist killed in an Iranian drone attack in Kuwait on March 1st. Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzin, 54, from Sacramento, California, was identified by a medical examiner after initially being believed to have died in the strike. This grim update serves as a stark reminder of the individual sacrifices made in such conflicts. Meanwhile, U.S. Central Command issued a crucial warning regarding civilian ports. They stated that Iran's use of civilian ports for military purposes makes these facilities legitimate targets under international law, and urged civilians to avoid any port where Iranian naval forces are operating. The warning explicitly stated, the Iranian regime is using civilian ports along the Strait of Hormuz to conduct military operations that threaten international shipping. This dangerous action risks the lives of innocent people. Civilian ports used for military purposes lose protected status and become legitimate military targets under international law. This escalates the risk significantly, blurring the lines between military and civilian infrastructure and potentially endangering thousands of non-combatants. On the home front for Americans in the region, the situation appears to be stabilizing, albeit with an unexpected twist. The State Department announced it would scale down its charter flights and ground transport operations because the number of available seats was significantly greater than the demand from U.S. citizens. Assistant Secretary Dylan Johnson noted that despite inviting nearly 9,000 Americans and their families in the UAE to travel on U.S. government flights, many departed with available seats due to a lack of demand. It seems most Americans who requested assistance either declined it, opting to remain in the country, or booked commercial flight options, suggesting a level of confidence or perhaps resignation among the expatriate community. The department has, however, completed over 36 charter flights, evacuating thousands from the region since the conflict began. Internally, Iran faces its own set of challenges and controversies. The country's sports minister, Ahmad Danyamali, stated it would be impossible for Iran to participate in the World Cup tournament in the United States due to the wicked acts they have done against Iran. He cited the 2 wars imposed on them over 8 or 9 months and the thousands killed as reasons. This stance directly contradicts President Trump's earlier statement to FIFA representatives that Iran was welcome to play, highlighting the deep animosity and the conflict's impact on even cultural exchanges. A particularly sensitive issue emerged regarding a preliminary military investigation into the bombing of an elementary school in Iran, which suggested the U.S. was likely responsible. Initially, President Trump had suggested Iran might be behind it. When pressed on his assertion, he claimed, "I don't know enough about it." Later, when confronted with the reporting suggesting U.S. culpability, he simply reiterated, "I don't know about it." This lack of clarity or acknowledgement surrounding such a grave incident could further fuel anti-U.S. sentiment and international condemnation. Finally, the leadership in Iran has undergone a tumultuous transition. The new supreme leader, Ayatollah Muttaba Khamenei, who has not been seen or spoken in public since his appointment over the weekend, was confirmed to have been injured in the same U.S. or Israeli strike that killed his father and predecessor on the first day of the war. While officials stated he was safe and sound, his injury and the death of other family members, including his wife and mother in the compound strike in central Tehran, underscore the profound impact of the conflict at the highest levels of Iranian leadership. State television had referred to him as a wounded veteran of the Ramadan War, without giving further details, sparking speculation about his health and even his survival. So, to recap these hypothetical updates from March 11, 2026, we've seen global financial markets grappling with oil price surges and inflation fears, prompting major banks to take protective measures. The UN Security Council has condemned Iran's actions and threats to vital shipping lanes. Militarily, the U.S. has conducted extensive strikes, leveraging advanced AI, while facing the human cost of casualties like Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzin. Civilian ports have become potential targets, and the State Department's evacuation efforts are winding down due to lack of demand. Culturally, Iran is boycotting the World Cup, and politically, the new supreme leader is confirmed to have been injured in the initial strikes, while questions linger about a U.S.-linked school bombing. This snapshot from a hypothetical future paints a vivid picture of the multi-layered consequences of such a conflict: economic, diplomatic, military, and human. It's a reminder of how quickly and comprehensively geopolitical events can reshape our world. What aspects of this hypothetical scenario do you find most striking or concerning? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis insightful, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into complex global topics. Thank you for watching.